media, and culture, as well as help small businesses and entrepreneurs with strategies and tips. Welcome to Dear White Paper. I'm your host, Lenitra King, owner of Indicator LLC, and I have my lovely co-host with me. To the right of me, I have Victoria Ray Moore.
Hey guys, I am Victoria Ray, owner of Victoria Ray Public Relations.
And we have to my left the lovely Renia Jameson.
Hey everybody, I'm Renia, and I'm the proud owner of Purpose Promotions in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yes. So we are going to get started on our first segment, Hot Off the Press, where we will be educating you and entertaining you on news, media, and culture. So let's get started.
Yay.
Okay, so Victoria, what do we have?
All right, so many of us have been following the chronicles of Kanye West.
Yes, we have.
And I think now he wants to be referred to as Ye. So on the record. Anyways, we've been following him, and recently Kanye West did an extensive interview with Charlamagne the God. He went so in-depth on his opinions and what he's been up to the past few months. He addressed mental health, he addressed becoming a father and a husband, and then he turned around and within only a couple of days, he did a seemingly spontaneous interview with TMZ. Yeah, so it seemed like the dust from the TMZ wave kind of overshadowed everything else that may have been said. Kanye gave some pretty candid perspectives. We've probably heard the soundbite by now. He gave a kind of controversial thought on the issue of slavery.
Right.
Okay, so my question for my fellow PR practitioners is, if we could go back in time, would we allow Kanye West to walk through those TMZ doors for that interview?
I'm straight up saying, Victoria, you have...
You know, I'm kind of on the fence, right? So I ended with a yes, for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
So Kanye West, as a personal brand, has been known to be completely open with his opinions.
That's true.
We also know that Kanye West, as a personal brand, is not afraid of giving unpopular opinions.
That's
true.
true.
Too.
That is true. Also, I feel with Kanye West being a personal brand, not only a personal brand, but a public figure, and he already has not the best image.
Right.
So when you already don't have the best image, I don't think that was a good step, because it's going to make his image just even worse than it is right now.
Right. And I definitely went with the nah, because, of course, I work with a lot of elected officials and other public individuals who have a responsibility to the community that they serve. And I think that from a PR practitioner perspective, it's our job to check them,
Right.
and they have to make sure that as they climb, they have good people that can tell them no, and they will listen. So from a PR practitioner perspective, if he were my client, I would have been jumping out of my skin. The fact that it was so unscripted, so it's that TMZ video to just go in and just go into the newsroom and just start bantering with people, that was not okay. So I mean, there would have been some kind of an eye, or that mother look you give,
right? Yeah.
I would have had to, nah, we ain't doing that. So we would have needed to establish such a strong relationship that I could get through to him to let him know, no, those are things we talk about in the car on the way here or back at home, but do not put yourself out there like that.
Right.
Yeah, I can agree that approaching such a serious topic in such a casual way would be something that as a PR practitioner I would advise against. At the same time, having worked with creative individuals, I understand that we could prep all day long, and at the end of the day, I have no control over what comes out of that individual's mouth. So I do think that the strategy of doing a follow-up interview right after the release of the Charlamagne interview, I would say, sure, I'll support you on doing a candid follow-up.
Yes.
I would have done my best to do some media prep, but I also think that part of our role, it varies based on who the client is.
That's true.
If you've got a public servant, someone who's holding office, if you've got a corporation who is serving millions and billions of individuals food every day,
right,
or if you've got a creative artist who is making and creating all day, the way that we represent them and the way that we encourage them to represent themselves, I think has to be a little bit flexible. So Kanye, I don't always agree with everything that you say, but I will defend your right to say it.
I do like what you said about the follow-up interview. I feel like that was a good thing to do. What was said, not so good. Not so good. And then we have to think too, just because you're a public figure or because you're a personal brand, do you have to adhere to different rules than if you were a small business owner, if you were an entrepreneur or creative?
And I think it comes down to the money, right? So as a creative, you can put anything out there, but the question is, what's your residual? What's going to happen on the back end? And so, yes, you take the risk of, okay, I'll put this out there, I'll say this, but if it doesn't make good business sense, or if you are at the point where it doesn't matter to you anymore, then, you know, you can kind of go off the grid and roll on.
And, you know, for Kanye, even though he makes a lot of money, it still matters for him, because I even heard him mentioning in an interview that ever since the whole Taylor Swift situation, when he got on stage talking about Beyonce, he said he does not get as much radio play as he used to before. So when you're thinking about the impact that this is going to have on your image and on your brand, you need to be more careful about that. You can still give your opinion, but be mindful about what you're saying. So I would even encourage him to do another follow-up interview. I mean, what did he do after this TMZ interview? He did go to social media. He did actually make some tweets, but I would have recommended for him to do like a personal letter that he may have put on social media that's really deep and genuine. That's the way I would approach it. What do you think about that? And how he handled it after TMZ. Yes.
Gosh, so as a publicist, what would I have told Kanye to do after? Well, actually, I think that there's an advantage to not going back on camera, because any reporter who gets a sit down with Kanye West in the wake of that statement so hot is going to run with it.
They are.
So, you know, I think for Kanye to any residual statements, for him to go to his own platform where he has control, 100% control over the message, I would have advised that he go that route. Truthfully, has he tweeted anything about that specifically? Did he
about TMZ?
Yeah. Has Kanye West said the word slavery again?
Let's take a look, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's take a look. I'm gonna go to his Twitter and let's see what we have.
And I think as you're pulling it up, you know, again, I just have to continue to emphasize that it's all about what's the bottom line, you know. And if that was a slip, and because, I mean, the thing about that TMZ interview that was just so, I mean, made the hair on the back of your neck stand up as a PR practitioner is the fact that, I mean, he was just totally off the cuff. It was so raw. It was, you know, he just walked in, let's get the cameras going. So they're struggling to get the cameras. Then he gets up and goes into the newsroom, and, you know, and then of course, like you said, most people only saw that one clip, but I mean, he goes in the newsroom as people are working and interferes with like, who does that? That was just inappropriate.
Right,
that's a good point.
As PR practitioner. I call myself a publicist, and we can save that for another episode.
Right. That's a whole other thing, right?
but as a communications professional, publicist, PR practitioner, not only are we responsible for helping our clients create public statements, helping shape their public images, but I also have a consciousness of business to business interactions.
Right.
So to your point, to come into a place of business with all of your energy and to expect all eyes on me, as a practitioner, I may say, hey, you know, let's carry ourselves a little bit differently into that room. And again, a lot of what we do is opinion based. It's just a matter of our clients trusting that our opinions are as unbiased and objective as possible.
Right.
So,
yeah. And what you said is a really good point. The way he came into the room, and a lot of people in that newsroom were offended, and that just really, your brand personality is a big part of your image. And he has the brand personality of being disruptive, of being disrespectful.
Yeah.
And when you went into that newsroom, that's what you showed.
yeah.
And that's besides just the interview itself. And I did look at his Twitter.
What did you find?
I'm going back several posts, and I don't see anything
Yeah.
about slavery comments, which
He
is
might
good.
have just kept it moving.
Right. He might have just kept it moving. But we will see what we see in the coming weeks from Kanye West.
Yes.
Okay, so another topic. So rapper Azalea Banks has started another issue with Cardi B. Cardi B and Azalea Banks actually had a previous issue before, but now rapper Azalea Banks has called Cardi B an illiterate rat and a character of a woman. So if you had a client who did a radio interview giving their opinions in such manner, would you agree with them doing that? Oh, we all agree on this. Nah. And let me say this too about Azalea Banks. So she has a history of having issues with people. She's had issues with Beyonce, which I wouldn't want to have issues with Beyonce. I mean,
the Beehive is coming.
The Beehive, exactly. Beyonce, Rihanna, and even Sky Jackson, who's really young. Why would you have an issue with her? But needless to say, if you have a client who has a negative stigma already, how would you handle that client?
Well, I'm gonna jump in there. I think that a lot of times, sometimes some of us as PR professionals believe that any news is good news, any attention is good attention, and so when you think about especially the culture of entertainment and rap, it's all about making sure that you do the next diss so that you can get the attention from the fans, and so I think that from that perspective, you will probably have those who would give that a yes. Let's make you relevant. If you could go toe to toe with Beyonce, if you could go toe to toe with Rihanna, then you've got the people buzzing, you've got some attention, and now Cardi B, she's doing it. She I mean,
we love you,
I would not
B.
necessarily want her to be teaching my child, the English grammar language, but and when it comes to being authentically who she is, I mean, again, it's winning everyone over.
Yeah. So. And you mentioned a good thing. Some people think that all good press or all good media or good publicity is good. And I personally do not agree with that. And you do have some PR professionals who use creating drama as a tactic, which as a PR professional myself, I don't agree with that, and I don't see how any PR practitioner can agree with that, I must say.
But I have
Victoria.
something for this.
Okay.
Right. I'm like devil's advocate all over. No, okay. So do I agree with judgment on another woman, that kind of language? 100% absolutely not. So if my client said, hey, I'm going to give my opinion, and I think this person is obviously I'm going to do my best to give my client a little bit of enlightening, right?
Right.
However, here the devil's advocacy on a time when, as a brand personality, so all brands have personalities,
Yes.
whether you're a corporation, an artist, a public figure, you might be a brand of pillows,
Small
right?
businesses, entrepreneurs.
Small, big, right.
Definitely.
All brands have personalities. And so if the personality of the brand is, I'm controversial, my brand is controversial. If the personality of the brand is, oh, I have something to say about
Right.
everything,
Mhm.
that's something to consider. That's why I keep circling back to the fact that as practitioners, it really, every client, there's really no set line of advice. Someone doing this controversy in a playful way that's bringing them into conversations is Wendy's. Every time McDonald's says something, Wendy's claps back.
Right.
You know,
That is
Taco
true.
Bell, Wendy's
true.
clap back. And it's
I
funny.
get that. Yeah, I totally get that. And I think especially when it comes to the hospitality industry, you know, that's a way to show their personality and appear more human, which I get that. But with this, I just cannot agree with that because she created drama. She didn't necessarily clap back. Now, Cardi B, on the other hand, did clap back. And I didn't necessarily have an issue with that. And what I want to talk about with Cardi B is someone who is not afraid to be herself
Definitely.
whatsoever.
Definitely.
She is 100% raw. And, you know, that's her personality. So with authenticity, you know, what is that line between being authentic and then someone saying, hey, you know, you're this, you're that,
Right.
because you're being authentic?
Well, I think we're out of time for Hot Topics.
Yes, we are out of time. Thank you guys so much for watching our first segment, and we will be back. And welcome back to our second segment, CPR, where we help small businesses and entrepreneurs with challenges that they are facing within their business from a public relations perspective. Today, we have a video submission from Mr. Samuel Huggins.
Hi, my name is Samuel Huggins. I'm the owner of Praises Detailing. I'm located at 1943 Belgrade Avenue, West Ashley. I've been in this business for 13 years. A vast amount of my business came from the Carlos on the Savannah Highway. I did a lot of detailing for them, but due to the automated system, I lost a vast amount of my business. So now I'm appealing to the general public. What we do here is extreme detailing. We do detailing on the inside, from your headliners to your seats, to your floors, even carpets and cloth seats. We steam clean. We also do buff scratches out of cars that the clear coat has been broken. We do even down to your motors. We steam clean your engine. Then we come with a shiny dressing to coat your engine to make it look good. We also go as far as doing your trunk too, and your wheel wells and the inside and outside of the base of your wheels. So we do mostly everything here. And we could curve and make the package that you need to be done to your car. And once again, I'm appealing to the general public that I need some help. Thank you. God bless you.
Okay, Mr. Huggins. Well, one thing that I would suggest, a big trend in PR right now is thought leadership, where you're using your expertise to teach the community and show that you are the expert. So you have had a lot of experience on the car lot. So make sure you utilize that expertise and show yourself as the expert. There were a lot of details that you were giving, especially like the scratches that you are able to get off cars and things like that. A lot of people are looking for the small details done as well. Normally they may have to go to like one of the drive-through through the gas station and things like that, but just showing that you guys look at those small details like the trunk, the engine, and things like that. Make sure you utilize that and you show the details that you actually pay attention to.
Well, and I think the thing that jumped out to me is you've established that you've got years of experience. And so you have to have some type of database of customers, and I would love to see some testimonials from those car lots that even though they're not using you now, I mean, they could vouch for you. And if someone from a huge car lot on Savannah Highway is able to say, you know, this is who we've used over the years, and give that simple segment, then it would tell somebody like Renia riding around in her little, you know, Blazemobile, that, hey, I know I can trust them, because if they could do it for the big dogs, they could definitely do it for the little small dogs like me. So I would consider using those testimonials, and then definitely taking advantage of frequent user loyalty programs. So over the years, I'm sure they've developed a great database of wonderful customers, probably businesses and individuals. Pull those people in and give them some incentives to bring additional customers along.
Yes, that's good.
I think those are fantastic suggestions. And if I were to, hey, Mr. Huggins, if I could add anything, I would say targeting the general public is great, because your business could be for anyone, any age, any car type. But I would suggest maybe making a campaign that's targeted on real estate offices or corporate office buildings where people are at work in large numbers. I would find a creative way to go introduce myself. So maybe I have a flyer, maybe I have a special coupon, and I would go to businesses where there were large groups of people. And if I could challenge you to think about, maybe now you've got this business that's existed for more than a decade. I think it's okay to sometimes get a little bit flexible with your business model and try out new things. One of the things that I've seen appeal to me as a consumer has been this mobile car detailing.
Definitely.
So are there opportunities for you to approach these corporate businesses, tell them, hey, every Wednesday I'm willing to come here, park outside, and give you all a special rate, and then take care, boom, 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 knock 20 out on a Wednesday afternoon, and then the rest of the revenue could become a little bit more passive. So it may work, it may not, but I would definitely offer you the opportunity to try something like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, awesome feedback from everyone. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to our show today, Dear White Paper, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.